Hey everybody, how's it going? It's Alex, obviously. I'm getting ready to fly, fly, fly. Spread my wings and fly. I believe I can fly. I'm gonna fly like an eagle. I wanna be fly. So what's going on, my friends? Let's see here. We got Ian in here, Coro, Mick, what's up? Gizmo, hello. Just got to the St. John River mouth in January. In Jackson, Mississippi, maybe? Jacksonville, Florida. Few night casts, see what happens. All right. Yeah, Goose, what's up? Cosmin, hello. Secret paramecium living in your aquarium. Yeah, they're not that secret anymore. I think everybody knows they're there. May the fish gods bless your adventure, my friend. Well, thank you. I'll count you as one of the fish gods since you're talking to me. I like to think that I have a dialogue with the gods. Chew, what's up? Sketty, Linda, Angie, Jeff, what's going on, my friends? SC Catahudas, Cave of Wonders, Bambi. Hello, Bambi. It's been a while, I feel like, since I've seen you live. Nancy B in Tennessee, what's going on? Big Shrimpin', what's going on? John Manroe, what's going on? Good to see everybody. Mickey Senior, we got a Mickey M. I've seen a Mickey Junior or Mick, but this is Mickey Senior. I think we've got the distinguished, the elder of Mickeys, not of Micks, but of Mickeys for sure. So welcome. So guys, I am leaving on a jet plane, and I know exactly when I'll be back again, unless there's a hurricane. I've got all this stuff spread out. I've got my dongle hanging out. I've got my cameras so I can film my dongle hanging out, and the light so I can light my dongle hanging out, all sorts of stuff ready to go for the trip. Just kind of getting the last things together to put it in a bag and call it a day. I will probably film a little video on the stuff that I'm going to have in my bag, my everyday carry bag for when I'm down there, which is kind of like my fish bag, I guess. I've got a new cast net, which I'm excited about. I've got a handy like survival fishing trap kind of thing, but it's a minnow trap. I don't know if I'll be anywhere long enough that I'll bait this and do this or anything, but it's so flimsy and little that I'm like, whatever, I can throw it in the bag. So there's a couple things I'm going to test out. I also bought a super high-powered flashlight that actually uses, for the recharge, it uses the big old vape cartridge batteries, the 10,000 milliamp hour ones. And then I'll be bringing my testing equipment for temperature, TDS, pH, all that stuff. Also going to be bringing all my filming gear stuff, my microphones, my little extra memory cards and hard drive type things. So yeah, it's a lot to kind of put together. Plus, then for me, I've always got to put together my medications and make sure I've got that all in line for the trip. But I will be on my way, and I'll be landing in Tampa tomorrow. I'll take off tomorrow in the wee hours, and first thing in the morning, I'll get to the airport. Then I will be flying 6.5 hours or 6 hours. Depends. It kind of depends on the weather. It could be as short as 5.5 or as long as like 6.5 hours, depending on the weather and the headwinds and things. So then we'll come into Tampa. Then I'll have to go take a shuttle, get a rental car, and then by the time all that's done, it's going to be like 7 p.m. or something, like because of the time difference too. So that's kind of a day lost to travel, unfortunately. But then by Thursday, Friday, I'll be hopefully I've got plans to go to a fish farm. I've got plans to possibly it's not locked in when, but go back to Imperial hopefully and see their stuff again. Also um, the research center in Ruskin. That's another one. And hopefully checking in with anything their grad students are researching or doing with aquaculture. And so those things are ongoing projects, I guess, now, going on several years of kind of checking in and filming. And, I've got lots of footage that I didn't know what to do with from the past too. That's kind of like just here and there stuff or B-roll shots that didn't make sense other places. So this time I'm hoping to kind of go back and get some useful, some helpful, like narrative for that stuff as well. Will I be able to visit the Okefenokee Swamp? No, I will not. But it's a long ways. I mean, it's like I don't know, 8 hours from Tampa probably. But I will be in the Tampa area filming areas I've filmed before. So we'll be able to see the impact of Idalia, the hurricane that was just there. Now, a lot of where I've filmed already in the recent past is where literally the eye of the storm passed over in between Lucas Brett's house and where my friends live in Spring Hill, which is about an hour north of Tampa. So first, when I get into town, I think I'm going to probably stay down south of Tampa, actually, with my friend Brian, a friend and viewer of the channel, member of the channel. Great guy, really interesting dude, really smart dude, really nice dude. And then I think there may or may not be a night or two that I get a hotel, and then I speak in Tampa. So Friday, I'll probably spruce up my slideshow presentation. I just always like to kind of look at it from fresh eyes because every talk I give to every club, I do completely new in the sense that if I were going to talk about 5 things, I'd hit the same 5 things, but the structure in which I get there is going to be different every time. And I'm going to add in probably 20 or 30% info that's either new and interesting that I learned that's just not been talked about in past talks, or it's going to be a little bit, I don't know, a little bit specific to the region, maybe. But I don't think the Tampa club is going to share my talk just because they don't have internet that's good there. They don't have the bandwidth for it, so to speak, and nor a camera operator that I know of. Unless someone is going to be there that wants to do that, then they can feel free to put it on their channel or whatever, and I'll link to it. Also, then when I go over to Cape Canaveral and do the Space Coast Club, that should be fun. I've never been over there, but they actually got me as part of my pay for talking, essentially. They said that they were going to pay for a kayak day trip in the morning after the talk. So that could be really, really cool. And then I've got some dentist appointments while I'm down there too, because these bottom teeth, as much as I'm cool with them the way they are, they have to all be popped out, and then they're putting ceramic in rather than this is acrylic right now that's in there. And then I don't know, but they may do a couple things to start on the top because then I have to go through this whole freaking process up top that I've done the last year to the bottom. It's just, I couldn't afford to do it all at once, right? So, but yeah, slowly but surely getting things taken care of. Slowly but surely, I'm not looking so much like a carny with my cracked teeth in the front and the 2 cracked teeth right up front. I don't even look like a vampire or anything. I don't even look like a dude who's a badass like fighter. I look like a I live in the Midwest in a trailer park, and yeah. Let's see here. DJ Guppyfish, what's up? Miami saying hello. Man, I need to get down to Miami. At first I was thinking I might make it down there this trip. I highly doubt it now. I do have kind of a week off, essentially. I got to go to a dentist appointment on Thursday or Friday morning, but I've got Monday through Thursday that I could go down to Miami if I had like a place to go and a thing to do. And obviously there's lots of things to do there. But the more I think about all that, the more I'm like, man, I just need to make a solo trip for like a week with either my wife or with friends to Miami when there's an event there, maybe, or when there's something going on that I could go collect with some locals that know where to take me, because that would save me so much time compared to what I do when I get to some place like where I'm at in Tampa. A lot of what I do is I will get out maps. I'll get on Google Earth, and I will just scroll through looking at satellite images of like rivers and creeks and following them, seeing where vegetation's green, and then depending on the time of year trying to like deduce where it's green and what the like elevation is, and then like remembering that after I've gone out a few times and then going back to those places. So yeah. Mick says Tampa area will be interesting as well. I want you to have a good visit also, not run around stressed just because we want to see something. Oh, thanks, Mick. Your health is most important. Well, I appreciate that. You guys know how I get when I get a little run down. But yeah, and Sketty, yeah, it is a major amount of invasive surgery on my face for sure. So it is nice in some ways to load it up separately into little like blister packs. uh, Pun intended. Then but it's also you know kind of annoying to not just get it all done at once. Master Black, what's going on, dude? How are you doing, man? You got some Daphnia, and I put it in a jar full of green water. Don't have to worry about anything else, right? Aeration, probably. I mean, you don't need to aerate them necessarily, but that will really help their population numbers. And the temperature can't get too hot. But yeah, if they have green water, then they will eat the algae and they'll be fine. Now, there's certain paramecium and things too that you could grow in that same green water. I mean, it's just chock full of life for your fish. I don't know what just happened because StreamYard is really silly, but I see people thanking Thomas G, and I know that he gave some membership. So I have no idea what that was. But Thomas, thank you very, very much. And YouTube and StreamYard, unthank you. Go to hell, StreamYard. Why don't you tell me when? Yeah, it doesn't tell me sometimes. It usually tells me super chats, but it doesn't tell me that, and it's very odd. You like the beard styling, huh? Well, it's not really so much a style as it is me being a lazy arse. But uh, yeah, I do kind of have a beard going on, I guess. Maybe it helps hide my chins. I just need to grow a long enough mustache to hide my busted teeth. Just have like a Elliot, what's his name? Uh, the guy from the Big Lebowski. Gifted 5 memberships. Thank you so much, buddy. Honestly, that really is awesome. I love that. Lets people see if they want to also be a member too, if they like coming on and seeing the extra stuff. I have been slacking a little bit on uploading extra content just for members. And this trip, I can assure you there's going to be a lot of stuff that is saved for members. And I have stuff from the last trip that is too. Sam Elliott, thank you. Cosman. Yeah. The banquet bear. The guy who talks like he's got a big old mouth full of syrup. Jamie Heineman. Yeah. Minus the hat. I can't do that hat. So let's see here. Man, everybody's so thankful. Sweet. Awesome. And welcome new members. Um, so yeah, that's really all I wanted to come in and say. I honestly didn't have an agenda for today's video or anything like that. I'm going to try to be better about doing live streams on the trip. This trip, the last few trips, I've been really bad at it because I've just told myself, get footage, whatever's going on. If there's something fish related, go do that. And the crazy part about that is that 90% or 80% or whatever, even if it's 50% of what you do doesn't get shared, filmed. I have hundreds of hours of film on different memory cards and stuff like that. Um, you like the LRB format, members only content? Uh, yeah, think I can do that. Um, uh, sorry guys, I'm just reading your comments. Okay, well, does anybody have any pressing issues or help they need with their aquariums? I'm hoping, Amisa, what's going on? I'm hoping that, and Fish Streams, what's going on? I'm hoping that I can get, and Jose Torres, what's going on? Everybody, what's going on? What's going on? I'm hoping that this trip too, I don't know if you guys will like it or not. And there's almost a part of me that's wondering, like, should I do this for a separate channel? But there's a part of me that wants to do some history videos on Civil War and Native American prehistory archaeological, um, the native peoples of the region and how they used resources. And like, there's a mound culture, there's the Mississippian mound culture, there's an unknown mound culture, there's the Titusville bog bodies that I'm going to be right by, which is a really incredible site. I think of 126 preserved people from around 7,000 years ago in Florida. And yeah, it's there's a lot of history in Florida. There's the Native American and archaeological stuff, and then there's the geological, like the whole fact that there's a river that runs under half the state, underground. And so I want to try to mix in those topics. Like, I filmed some videos last trip, and I was they were too long. That's the problem. They ended up being like an hour and a half each. But I went to the site of a fort where there was a massacre of Native Americans, and another one where there was a massacre of troops. And then Andrew Jackson followed a bunch of Seminole Indians down into deep Florida. And a lot of people think that the Seminole Indians are a tribe, and they are now, the last 150, 175 years, but they aren't a tribe historically or culturally originally. They are the Cherokee, the Choctaw, the Cree. They are the people that are no longer in existence, or we don't even know the names of the tribes where like the Spanish had first contact and gave them disease in like the 1510s and 1520s. And then like another 100 years rolls around, then they get more contact with more Europeans, another round of illness happens. And a lot of them left that region, but we know that the region's been inhabited all the way back to almost the Ice Age. We have bodies in the region. So I want to do some interesting, to me anyways, history stuff like that. Maybe talk a little bit about like even like the 80s and the crazy cartel stuff that went on there, and the Colombians and the Cubans. And I don't know, there's some interesting stuff. There's tunnels all under Tampa. And I can really actually see some parallels between how we say invasive fish, or a problem with fish coming that are exotic, and how humans are. Are Europeans invasive species are the original Native Americans invasive species to the continent. And you can go on and on and on, and it's kind of silly to compare that level with this level, but the parallels there to be made that, like, Florida has all these just wave after wave of invasive things, or I should say changing things, replacing things. And some of the stories are quite phenomenal, especially when I spend an afternoon trying to get through the bushes and get to a creek to get some really, beautiful mollies or whatever it might be that I'm trying to catch there. And then I read about the natives making it 50 miles a day on foot being chased in the 1830s and 1820s. Like, what in the heck? Through an area without any paths, through the jungle, like on canoes and on foot and carrying the canoe and then back. I mean, it's just wild. The other thing that is yet to be determined is how much do you folks want to see the southern species, and by that I mean the truly exotic things like Oscars, knifefish, that kind of stuff that you start to see near like Fort Myer, Sarasota area. I probably won't go to Fort Myer unless it's just for the day, with my friend Grant. You guys know Grant Eater. But yeah, I just don't think I'm going to spend a long time there. One is, you guys probably remember that I have a hard time in really hot heat because of my lupus and the medications I have to take. And that's why my face is puffy and my weight's always fluctuating and stuff. Well, that, and I eat crap food and I'm a degenerate, but beyond those reasons, and have no self-control, beyond those reasons, uh, I will not be coming by Jacksonville, unfortunately. But if you can make it to Daytona, I will be speaking there on the 23rd of the month. But I've already got a rental car. It's already like a couple hundred miles to get up there, and then I'll come back. I'll be coming through Orlando most likely, and then also I think we're gonna. Nathan, you've got some spots to collect fish in Fort Myer, huh? Well, shoot, maybe I'll have to talk with you. Pyle, what's up, Mark? Um, yeah, a lot of people are going to be at Daytona for Aquachella. I did not get invited to speak there. And there was some talk about that originally, like way back, uh, like 6 months ago. No, a year ago, almost a year ago. And so it's kind of ironic that I'm going to be there like 5 weeks before that, and it's the only time I've really been to Daytona. I've driven through there on my way back from the Keys when I went up the East Coast in 2010 on a road trip, but I haven't been through there, so it'll be interesting. I'm staying there a night for sure, maybe a couple nights. Tara, you said, I haven't been to Florida since I was a kid. Love seeing all the little anoles running around, or anoles, however you want to say it, anole. They are awesome. The sad thing is the brown ones, which for some reason I assumed were native because they're brown and they're boring. And like I assumed the bright green ones were probably invasive because they're cool looking. They're bright green. The green ones are getting rarer and rarer. And I actually wanted to do a new video on it because I did a video on that topic 5 years ago in Florida. And my wife and I were there, and we were at this place called Indian Rocks Beach that is the outer band of barrier islands on the Tampa Bay. So there's like rich people building on sandbars essentially, and there's like 3 or 4 rows of sandbars in a lot of cases. And there's kind of like old island chains and basically literally no more than a sandbar in some cases. And then they reinforce it with walls and things. And that area, the native species of little lizards and geckos have kind of been pushed, and they colonized it when they were building it and before they built there. But the new species that have come up in the last 30 to 50 years, they have actually replaced them. The Cuban and the Bahamian and Cuban anoles. But yeah, as Mark said, or as Pile Aquatic says, they're definitely color changers. They used to be sold as little chameleons in backs of magazines. I remember as a kid. Jose Torres, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. By the way, I did see that. I just didn't want to lose my train of thought. But thank you so much, buddy. I really do appreciate it. You are so supportive of the channel, and never expect it from any of y'all, but I appreciate it from all of y'all. Angie, my mom just got about 7 frontosas, and 2 of them always hang out with their hump and dorsal fin sticking out of the water. When they swim, they don't use their tail. Is that normal? I haven't had frontosas, honestly. I don't know if that's normal. It doesn't sound normal to me. But you know who would know that? It would be like Kenny E or Darius, like or Sawa Tanks. I'm just trying to think. Primetime would know that. Jason or Joanne. I just am not a big cichlid guy. I've never had the room for cichlids. I've never had 150-gallon tanks and stuff like that. So I just didn't get into a lot of the cichlids. I think they're beautiful and they're really cool, but I'm sorry, I just don't know the right answer. So I don't want to tell you something that's not true or that's incorrect. Gabriel, hello. Where can you find information? Where can we find the information for speaking you are doing there on the 28th? On the Space Coast Facebook website or on their normal website. Also, I will post their flyer when they make one. I don't, the Tampa Bay area has made one and it's up on all over the internet. I've shared it. Also, I'll be speaking in Portland, Oregon 3 days after I get back. So I'm giving a talk on the 10 moments that changed the hobby forever, or 10 pivotal moments in the history of fish keeping. That'll be the talk in Tampa. Y'all probably won't see that online, but there is old versions of that same speech online in the past and slideshows, 2 different talks and slideshows, same 10 points pretty much. But then there is the talk I'm giving at the Space Coast, which will probably be on the history of bettas and how they were domesticated. That's probably going to be also what ends up getting talked about at Aquachar as well, or not Aquachar, Fishtoberfest. Sorry, guys. And if it's not, then what will get talked about at Fishtoberfest is going to be fish keeping on 6 continents, which is basically an intro, 10 minutes on each, well, not 10 minutes, 8 minutes or so on each continent, and the history of humans interacting with fish, essentially from first keeping them horticulturally and aquaculturally for food and for religious reasons or for cultural reasons, like like fountains, just for ornamental reasons, all the way to our current understanding of pets and ornamental reasons. Yeah. So let's see here. How long you think until you're around this area? You come down this way. I've got spots scouting a few good. Fort Myers. I could come to Fort Myers as soon as early next week, probably like Monday through Thursday, somewhere in there, one of those days. The thing is, it kind of depends. I mean, it depends a little bit on my health with the heat and stuff. Because sometimes when I get to Florida, the heat of the day is rough. Therefore, it's nice to have a friend's house that I can like get up at 6 a.m., go out till noon, get 6 hours of collecting and filming and other things done, then take a siesta, then wake up at like 3 p.m. or whatever, and then go out again, or get a bite to eat, shower, blah blah blah. Then go out when it starts cooling off again around like 6 or 7, into the early evening. This time I do have a couple of strong flashlights and lighting gear that I haven't had in the past. um, I'll probably need to buy a new mosquito gear with bringing lights like that, though. That's my guess, because I got eaten alive. My legs look like tree trunks last time from getting bit by leeches and ticks, and well, only one tick. Lots of leeches one day, and just mosquitoes and horseflies and deer flies and these other dumb triangular shaped yellow flies that just take chunks out of you. Hopefully the bugs aren't that bad this round. I don't know. And hopefully those tornadoes the hurricanes that are out there don't actually make landfall where I'm at or anywhere near me. Although I do love the lightning and thunderstorms. So that's a thing that like the members might see too, though, is like if I'm rained out one day and watching lightning and I get some cool shots photography wise of the lightning, that would be something that I'd post. Or if I have a history video that doesn't fit anywhere else, that would be something. Or if I see something funny or not appropriate for YouTube, something crazy like a truck getting hit by lightning, like I did last time, things like that, I tend to put on the members only part of my community tab. Yeah, Pistos can be $500-600. They can be very expensive. They're just very rare, the ones that are that expensive. Now they can also be very cheap. They can be $5 or $6 for like an orange flash cockatoides that's mass bred in captivity. But it has to do with the rareness, has to do with how hard it is to breed, and or how difficult was it to get it out of the jungle. I mean, did they have to bring a generator and gear to like keep aerated tanks, and they had to like camp out 3 different nights before getting to the spot where they were done hiking, and then they got to a boat, and then it's 4 days up a river on a boat, and then to a bigger ferry boat type situation, and then they catch a plane, and then they got to go to the capital city. I mean, some of the trips are insane that people make with some of these rare fish, especially the ones coming out of Colombia right now. Which I do want to share with you guys something that I think is really cool, and I'm going to work with him or have him on soon, hopefully, on my channel. But I'm going to share with you guys a channel that's really incredible footage that I think you guys will all dig, of the breaking, cutting edge new fish from the Amazon and around the world. But he's always getting stuff in and going places, and he's an ichthyologist. You might be getting some hints. He films underwater a lot, and it's not Ivan Mikolji. That should give you a hint if you already know who I'm talking about. Let's see here. What are my thoughts on probiotic in fish food? I don't know. They're probably helpful. I mean, I think they're helpful in tannins, and in a lot of the gut biome that we see in ourselves is very important. It's also important in a lot of creatures that, use secondary methods of digestion, or that eat rocks, for instance, and then let the rocks tumble in their stomach. Fish don't usually have like a stomach per se. They've got like a long intestine. And so I suspect that getting nutrients out of food could be pretty important. Probiotic, prebiotic. Now, the whole point, though, of can you feed a probiotic to a community tank? There's probably unique probiotic bacteria for every single species in the world. There's probably a few, and there's probably some ubiquitous ones as well. But I would be a little skeptical of like one that fits all. But there are definitely like amino acids and things like that, like, or like Bacter AE, where there's substances you can create, or nutritional yeast, that kind of stuff, where or bee pollen, where it is not necessarily a probiotic or bacteria itself. It doesn't have the species on it or in it, or the spore. Not, well, they don't have spores, but it doesn't have an inoculation of it. but it is the energy that churns a lot of that microbiome uh, of bacteria, of fungi, of archaea. Blackbeard algae on your plant leaves, 55-gallon, 2 months old deep substrate planted aquarium. I noticed that the Blackbeard algae in sponge filter aquariums and in hang off the back aquariums, so like non-canister aquariums, I see it a lot. But I see it a lot in the deep substrate, and I don't know why that is. I haven't formed a theory on that, but I have noticed that the deep substrate, especially when you're using lots of sand. Now, we know that diatomaceous algae uses any sort of silicates that are in sand, and it needs them for its structural rigidity. There could be something similar, where it utilizes something about the sand, but I really don't. The only things you can do are trying to prevent it with your lights, and combating it by having your plants flourish or trimming your plant leaves once they get to a certain age, at say 3 or 4 months on an anubias. Then the other thing you can do is, flagfish, Siamese algae eaters when they're young. There's specific video I have on which species you should buy if you're going to do that, because they're not all the same. Some are kind of useless. Some are pretty good when they're young. And then there's flagfish too, which will also eat it. But that is a tough one. Also, Amano shrimp, Malawa shrimp, they'll tend to eat it, but it's kind of the last thing they eat. So it makes it tricky, I would say more plants is usually helpful. I rarely have Blackbeard outbreaks in tanks where I have a bunch of stem plants, floating plants. That also helps cut down on the light coming through. But, kind of paradoxically, having a good, strong light on your tank really does help as well, because it'll let your plants power through the nutrients that are in the water. But water changes can help as well, too. But yeah. Now to kill it, also, you can just use hydrogen peroxide in a syringe. It'll turn it brown or red, orangey colored, kind of like when you bleach hair, like someone with black hair. If you were to try to bleach their hair, it's like that. Yeah. Johnny Best, what's going on? 7.5 shrimp cube, fluval stratum, mix little crushed coral, right on. Seasoned tank, ordered Caridina mix pinto from Grant, all babies, TDS 240, and alive. Grant said 140. Yeah, so they can live. They probably won't live as long. I generally tell people to try to keep it as close as you can to what they're saying, to what other people are saying. Now, neocaridinas, they need the crushed coral. If you're just going to keep caridina and fancy high-end bee shrimp and blue jades and green hulks and pintos, galaxies, boas, those kind of things, Brightwell, I think, is probably the best option. Fluval is not bad, but Brightwell will buffer. You don't need and you don't need crushed coral in Fluval necessarily, but it does help if you have water that's very acidic, or tannins, or if you have a swing going on, or if you're using CO2. So that's why I generally recommend a little bit of it. But in the case specifically of fancy shrimp, you kind of got to go with what the shrimp people say that raise them, because Grant also has some tangerine tigers that I've got in 300 TDS right now, which is kind of unheard of, but he raised them in his tap water. So that's why they're doing okay. Now, all that being said, if you are successful with those shrimp and you don't start losing them all, great, breed them, like sell those. People will really want lines of shrimp that can withstand harder water. It's just as you do that, a lot of times you lose more of them. Owen Johnson, send in love from Orlando. Well, thank you kindly. I will probably be passing through Orlando. I wanted to meet up with Ryan Kenny, hopefully, the Florida fish master himself. Um, Awesome, Coro. Fishtoberfest will be recorded. Right on. Thank you. L fish tanks. Any secrets to raising bronze and emerald quarry fry? I seem to be losing a lot of fry. Hey, Grant, what's going on, buddy? I would say honestly, I'd have moldy, dirty stuff for them. They are going to eat baby brine shrimp. They're going to eat any little debris that's on the bottom. Um, and just letting them graze all day is the best bet. I mean, you could also get rapashi. That's another good thing. A lot of people think of it just for plecos, but it's great for quarries, especially like bottom scratchers, stuff like that, or any omnivore type food. You can just put it on a stick and put that in, and the babies will eat it. But honestly, if you're losing them, I mean, aeration can sometimes help. It's a lot of times it's a fungal or rot thing. That's what I've noticed. I don't know if that's true for everyone's water, but I see it. I see when their eggs fungus over. But if their eggs are making it pretty well, like if you don't see that the eggs are turning like milky white, if they stay like a clear to an amber clear color, um, then that's probably not your problem. But if you are seeing eggs that turn the milky white and don't hatch, then you may want to drop your pH a little bit more too. Put in more tannins, botanicals, because that will help keep bacteria and fungus from forming. Casper Johannesson, what's up? Wondering if you found any distinguishable differences, more of an overlap biome, different species, fish and shrimp between fish with different diets. Yeah, yeah, definitely. If I have a nano tank that has little baddis and things that are kind of predatory for a nano tank, there will be no little ostracods or seed shrimp on the little dots on the glass that kind of move like twitchy like. You won't see those at all. You won't see triclops or cyclops or triclops or any of the other weird little crustacean type things. Um, you don't see them. They're there, but they're hidden like in amongst the plants and under the substrate. Whereas, say, even just like a peaceful ember tetra community, CPDs, something like that, a lot of times you'll still see the microfauna out and about, and there's enough of it that it's out and about and visible. Same with medium-sized fish, but that impacts then algae and the other little microscopic critters that are in there. If you watch some of my videos of my tank water under microscopes, you can see the difference in one of my videos. It's the tank water that's 3 months old, 6 months old, a year old, 3 years old, and 6 years old in a fish tank. And it just goes up in diversity to about 3 years. And then at 3 years, it kind of doesn't get more diverse, not noticeably, anyways. But yeah, up to 3 years, it just gets more and more intense. Salient, what's up? Let's see here. We got to get one of those hats with the net and everything. Yeah, I do need to get mosquito gear. Let me catch up with you guys. Alex, have Grant reach out to Richard for my cell number. Oh, okay. All right, I'll see what's going on if I can make it down that way. If I can find some PhD students to do some DNA testing, etc., would you be able to send some water samples if you have any research papers discussing the different microbiomes related to my food? Yeah, I can send you water samples easily. Um, just let me know. But I have never done a DNA analysis, but I've looked under the microscope and it's pretty self-evident. But I haven't, um, I haven't really thought. doing that, like knowing exact species and stuff. But perhaps, yeah. Um, let's see here, Richard. Um, let's see here. Your dog eats kefir daily. Oh, well, that's good. That's good. That's always good. Johnny Best, what's up? Um, is that $30,000, Mick, that somebody spent on a killifish species? I mean, people do spend crazy money. There's tetras right now going for $500 to $1,000. Some of the new ones. Um, let's see here. Fishery most widely used is Bacillus among a few. Just wondering if these makers use enough. I don't know. I don't know the science on that. I wish I did. Maybe the Aquaculture Research Center will have some info on that. I should talk to them. Uh, Bucky's brisket jerky. Huh. Okay, I'll check it out. I can't eat jerky right now, which sucks because of my teeth, but I can eat like barbecue. That sounds good. Brisket. Patrick Evelyn, hello. Forget fishes, the world is ending. Uh I don't I don't know about that. Haven't heard about that. Hadn't heard about the sky falling. Yeah. Well, guys, I want to show you guys something. Uh Yeah, you could also run an air diffuser, run an air stone to keep bacteria away, or flow. I mean, helps too. You can do lots of things. In the wild, it's a combination of all those things. It's flow, it's air, and it's also um, not salinity, the water's botanical properties and mineral properties and all that. Uh, Yes, Coro, that's true. The eDNA does tell us the difference between the scuds around the world. There's hardly any other way to figure it out. Dang, Mick says somebody spent 30,000 on a trip to a civil war area in Sudan. Yep. I mean, right now, kind of a civil. Yeah, it is a civil war area. That really is the South Sudan and stuff. Yeah. But there are definitely, uh, Libyan, uh, or sorry, not Libyan, Liberian. There were fish that came out of there, including the clown killies when they first were found way long ago. That's been an unstable region for a long time. Cote d'Ivoire and Cape Verde and um, Gambia is okay usually, but some of the other areas there are not the safest, and that's another reason, yeah, why it can be expensive to get fish out of there. The FARC in Colombia make it made it very dangerous for the last 50 years, off and on, to go collecting. You'd get kidnapped, and they didn't let anybody in, and it's actually ironic because it's kept that area very undeveloped. Papua New Guinea is another spot where it's just in Papua. It's just not that safe to go to a lot of the deep tribal regions. Whether it's illegal miners, whether it's illegal logging and things like that, and they are killing people, or whether it's the Indonesian military. A lot of people don't know this, but last year the Indonesian military slaughtered over 4,000 civilians in Borneo, on the island of Borneo, and reports are that they're still doing that in the very deep jungle. They're basically on the border region, they're trying to build these dams and flood out these areas that are inhabited by different tribes of people. And there was video of one of the attacks. These guys look like they're straight out of central casting for like bone in the nose, like stereotypical tribal Southeast Asians. And, with the feathers and the body paint and just a loincloth. And yet, there they are running for their lives, and their houses getting torched. They actually were dropping from 2 helicopters. They were dropping bombs on the village and like this napalm like stuff. Really sad. But anyways, yeah, Coro, not to get into geopolitics and all, but maybe we shouldn't just divide up continents and islands. Yeah, like pieces of meat. Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, maybe we should take a look at like, who lives there before we split it, like just right down the middle or down some mountain range or whatever. Lindisfarne. Yeah, I've thought about doing an episode on that in particular. So many fish come out of that region, and it is very sad what's been going on there. China too. I mean, and Russia now. Everybody is rushing in to take advantage of those places like that. Unfortunately, Africa was that way earlier. Now it's kind of set in stone who's taking what in Africa, unfortunately. You're colonizing your turtle canister filter with scuds. My plan is they'll help eat the guano as a food source. Win-win. Maybe. I mean, if that works, that's great. Let me know. I don't really know like what a turtle's stomach breaks down versus doesn't, but yeah. So let me show you guys something. I want to show you something before I get ready. I got to continue packing, and then I got to get up at around 3:30 or 4 to go get to the airport on time. So let me share something with you guys. And let me know.
Hi everyone, today I want to show you a new spectacular sailfin tetra and other new tetras.
So this is below water. And if you don't know, Oliver Lucanis, incredible aquarist. His channel is awesome.
But we don't see them often.
He's got a Japanese-speaking version of the channel too.
Today we want to introduce a new charasin,
but he is constantly showing new fish and footage that's never been released of fish.
Please make sure to subscribe to this channel.
And social media. If you go over to Below Water, he's trying to get more subscribers to fund his filming and stuff, and just more views. But his footage is phenomenal. He's a PhD. He's got fish named after him.
Them are well established in the hobby. The 2 emperor tetras,
and it is pretty nerdy, but they're beautiful, videos. So go over to Below Water, tell him I say sent you. No, you don't have to do that, but his channel is incredible, and he was lamenting the fact that not many views were happening on his channel lately.
But they've never been imported to.
And I know the feeling when you work hard and you're like, oh, where is everybody? Why is no one watching this?
There are other small and good-looking tetras, such as Sacoderma hastata.
And these are all species out of
to the Colombian tetra,
that north coastal Pacific Colombian area. But I mean, this video here is just one of so many on his channel that is phenomenal. And I mean, he just shares great footage of newly imported stuff, but also like stuff that's actually still yet to be named, stuff that's in the wild still when he goes collecting and so forth. So him and obviously Ivan Mikolji, if you need footage of anything in the wild, photos, I mean, he's got so many fish you've never ever seen before. I mean, this looks like a Kuliloch, the color. But he's got this 5-part series of rare tetras and I guess Chelseas and other kinds of fish too, but rare fish that you have not heard of. Most people haven't heard of. So yeah, Ichthy's Aquatics. What's your well, just tell me your screen name when I see you. Yeah, it'll be nice to meet you. Awesome. Do you have any female scarlet baddis on you? No, I don't. I don't have any right now, actually. Mine all got murked by the males. I had at 1.5 females in the breeding setup, and that hybrid that I had a year and a half ago went through 3 females. So finally, I mean, I got rid of giving up trying to breed them. And then I got another female who ended up either turning male or being a male. I don't know. I never confirmed that it was female, but I got it from a friend who I trusted. But like I said, those ones are so freaking hard because they have been noted to change their sex, which is frustrating. So yeah. All right, guys. Well, I got to get out of here. Thank you, Gary, for reminding people to hit that like button if you do like it. I do need to get a new set. Like, this is just a bad spot. I'm in the kitchen broadcasting in here just because the Wi-Fi is close and there's a place to sit and my wife doesn't yell at me for putting the laptop here compared to other places in the house. And the fish room's just way too loud. And people complain when I'm mobile filming, but I do like those streams sometimes still. But yeah, so check out Below Water, and he just released a new book too. That's what I wanted to come talk about, of all Xingu River species and pictures and habitats and biotopes, things like that. Should be cool. But yeah, starting tomorrow, I'll be on my way traveling. Got a rental car, so I'll be mobile. I don't know my plans yet, really, other than speaking. And it's going to be a bit of an adventure. I always have to plan with my health in mind, which is a bummer, but I'm going to try to do as much as I can in the time that I have, until I run into a brick wall. Right. So much love to you guys. Thank you so much for the support as well, for the super chats tonight and for the gifted memberships. That was very nice of you. Very kind of you. I'm going to get out. You don't recommend riding on top of the plane. Yeah, it's cooler up there, though. I don't feel so claustrophobic. Is there a reasonable hotel near the Tampa site? I don't know. There's lots of hotels in Tampa. I mean, I'll probably just find like a, Days Inn or something, or Best Western, and find a place to crash. I don't have money to stay in a hotel the whole time, obviously. I have friends, though, that I've known for years, and so I probably will just actually relax at a friend's house for part of the time when I'm in Spring Hill. But when I'm not in Spring Hill, north of Tampa, that'll be hotels. The club in Daytona is paying for a night of hotel, which is great. I mean, it's very nice. West Western, yeah, Coro. But any case, guys, thank you, Liquid Zoo. Thank you very much, buddy, for the super sticker. That was very nice of you. I hope you guys all have a wonderful night. I'll check back in with you guys when I'm in Florida on the road. Hopefully, I'll be doing more shorts this trip too. Sometimes I don't have Wi-Fi for hours and hours, and then by the time I do get it, I'm just kind of beat. But I think this trip will be a little less intense that way, so it should be. I can sleep in your fish room. Oh, that's so kind of you. All right, yeah, I'll try to get your number, or or you can email me at alexanderjwilliamson.gmail.com too, or at gmail.com too. Where's your logo? Yeah, sorry, I've just been so swamped. It's been, yeah. Shorts make more sense than pants. Yeah, I actually have made pants for Florida. They're old pajamas that I cut off, like pirate pants. Like I just cut them off. And because they're just going to get wet and sticky and muddy. And yeah, I don't have tips, unfortunately, on breeding pumpkin seeds or bluegills because I have not done it. I've had them breed in my pond, but I don't really know what they did, honestly, other than have 100+ gallons to live in. They're pretty cichlidy in that I think they'll breed if you've got a male and a female that don't kill each other first. Garcia, I went over that the whole stream kind of at my itinerary, but basically Tampa, then maybe down to Sarasota, like right when I get there, and like Ruskin, Bradenton, Lakeland, maybe somewhere kind of west and south of Tampa for the first few days. Then I speak in Tampa proper on Saturday. Then after Saturday, I go up to Spring Hill and stay with some close friends, but he's already got other people at his house. So I'm not sure if I'm going to do that the whole time or what for that week. Then I get some dental work done there. Then I go maybe up north by Lucas. Then I'm going to cut over for Friday, Saturday, Sunday to Daytona. And then I got to make it back to Spring Hill for more dental work on Monday, Tuesday. And then I will be back home. But it's basically 2 weeks. Oh, you're in West Palm Beach. Yeah, I wish I was going there. Yeah, but I got to get out of here, guys. It's been over an hour, but I love you guys, and I hope you guys will have a great few days, and hopefully I'll see you soon. I will try to do another live stream soon and get to some of these questions. Haven't really been spending more than a couple hours a day on the questions and the comments lately. And that's just me because I've been getting ready for the trip and planning the trip. So, yeah. But thank you guys for helping each other in the chat. Thank you so much for the support, everybody. And I'll see you guys later. Much love. Have a good night.